This task is called class competition, and this is the first of many tasks that we will be doing that involve spreadsheets and using spreadsheets as a tool to organize and analyze and manipulate data. And just a quick overview, this task is about this teacher, Mrs. Q, and she teaches Algebra 2, AP Statistics, and Geometry. And she is engaging her students in a competition where her, quote, favorite class will be the class who does the best on their weekly quiz. And it's up to us to determine what that means and who we decide is the best based on the data that they've produced. We have here all of the scores for the geometry class this week. We have all of the scores for the Algebra 2 class and all of the scores for the AP Statistics class. And so we want to take these numbers and analyze them to try to understand which class is the best. And in order to make our decision, we're going to use a spreadsheet to do that. What I've done in the spreadsheet that I'm sharing with you is I've provided 3 tabs: the geometry, the Algebra 2, and the AP Statistics. And in each of these is just the data that appears in that document that initiated the task. So, and just notice that as I go down through these data points, you can see that I've just entered one number in each box, and I have a title here called Quiz Scores. And this first video is really just about some basics about spreadsheets that I want to introduce you to. So the first thing, I want to draw your attention to the control, or on your, if you're using a Windows machine, or the command button, the shift key, and all the arrow keys on the right-hand side of your keyboard. We're going to use those keys to navigate this data. Right now, I'm just scrolling up and down with my arrow keys. But if I want to go all the way to the bottom of the data set, instead of scrolling through it like this, and oh look, there's 29 rows on this that I'm using here, instead I can just hold down the control key or the command key on your Apple and hit the down arrow once. That brings me to the bottom of the data set. Control up or command up brings me to the top. So just try that a couple times, going to the bottom of the data and to the top of the data. This is just a quick way to navigate this data. And if you're already at the bottom of the data and you hit control down again, it brings you all the way to the very bottom of the spreadsheet. And you'll notice this spreadsheet has 1,000 rows in it. Far more than we will use, but I can, again, I don't want to scroll all the way back up till I get to my data. So instead, command up. There I am at the bottom of my data again, row 29. Command up again brings me to the top. So that's a simple way to get to the top and the bottom of your data. And the second thing I want to show you is how to use the shift key. A lot of times you'll need to highlight boxes like this, or cells as we call them. And a lot of our intuition is to use the mouse. You know, you can click and hold on a particular box and then drag and then let go, and you've highlighted a section of the spreadsheet. Well, you can do the same thing with keystrokes, and it's a little more efficient and precise than using the mouse. So I can hold the shift key down and use my arrow keys to highlight a set of boxes that I'm interested in looking at. So this is a way to highlight data without having to use your mouse, and it tends to be a little more exact. You know, if you prefer the mouse, that's fine, but this is just another way of doing it. We can combine these two ideas by holding down Command and Shift together and just hitting the down arrow once. And there I am. I just highlighted the entire set of data with basically one keystroke. Just using the up arrow again, or I can get back to the top of my data or back to the bottom. But again, Command Shift, holding those two together with my left hand, and then using the down arrow to highlight the entire data set. Sometimes we need to highlight the whole data set really quickly, and that's a nice way to do it. If I scroll now, you can see that the entire thing is highlighted. One reason why you might want to highlight the data is in order to sort it. And once you've highlighted the data that you want to sort, you can go here to the data option on the menu and look at these options. Sort, sort. You can sort by column A in reverse order or forward order. And I want to click on this sort range option and just show you some of the options that we have available to us. It says data has a header row. And in this case, we're just highlighting one column. But if I check that box, notice that I can sort by quiz scores. And so if I don't have this box selected, then it just says column A, because that's the data that I highlighted. If I check this box, then I can see the names that I've given to the columns. In this case, I titled my first column, quiz scores. And look, that's the only option that I have to sort by, of course, because I only have one column worth of data. And let me just sort. And it says A to Z. These are numerical, but they will sort in numerical order, increasing numerical order. And there they are. So now I can see the lowest score is 46. And command down gets me to the highest score, 94, and then back to the top. I'm going to undo that sorting for the moment, and that is all we're trying to talk about in this video. Just to review, you can use the control button, on your Mac, it's the command button to navigate your data. You can use the shift key to highlight your data. And you can combine these two together. If you hold Control and Shift, you can go to the end of the data and highlight it all together in one keystroke. Once you've highlighted that, you can use the data menu in order to sort your data if that is something that you want to do.